Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Is Our Year, the Minnesota Football Show. I'm Mikey Kalpikoff. Joining me, as always, Cary Armagost and Austin Southers. Glad to have you guys. Yes, cheers. So, it's our post-draft special. The Vikings traded down in the third and fourth rounds, traded up in the fifth round to secure their 6 draft picks that include a wide receiver, 2 DBs, a nose tackle, a QB, and an RB. 2 from USC, 2 from LSU, 1 from BYU, and 1 from UIB or UAB. Excuse me. Let's meet these guys.
Yes,
let's do it.
Bring them on.
Again, most of this information that was found from Vikings.com. So, Mamma Mia, Papa Pia. Let's get to it. All right. So, the first round, 23rd overall. Vikings select Jordan Addison from USC. Now, a lot of experts did consider Jordan Addison to be the best receiver in this draft. So, seems like the Vikings got a pretty good one while staying at their 23rd overall pick. Yeah, Cary, what do you got?
So, if he's the best receiver in the class, why did he slide? Why were other receivers taken before him? And why was he taken so late? Why was he not taken in the top 10?
Well, if you look at this entire draft, I think 4 receivers were taken in the first round. They all 4 went 4 in a row. And again, some experts considered that. Jackson Smith-Njigba ended up being the first receiver to go, which wasn't really a surprise, but I think definitely during this process, I think there were, these are by far, the 4 best receivers. So some did consider Jordan Addison to be that guy, and only time will tell what it's going to be in the NFL. He was first team All Pac-12 in his one season at USC. And before that, he was a star at Pitt, and he was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year.
And he had an NFL quarterback throwing at him when he was at Pitt.
Yeah.
He had a very good season at Pitt, too. I think, he had like 14 or 17 receiving touchdowns in his second year in the college league. So, he can show that he can take volume. He had 100 receptions. So, no, it's very exciting. And then I don't know if you guys saw, he got drafted in that kind of sweet spot that Minnesota's had with receivers. I was kind of looking at a stat where it was like Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, Percy Harvin, and now Jordan Addison, all getting drafted in that early 20s, 21 through 23. So if our history repeats itself again, I think we're looking at a good pickup of that spot.
Absolutely. I have his stats for his one season at USC.
Real quick, let's not forget someone else who was taken at 23.
We can
wide
never
receiver
forget.
For the Minnesota Vikings.
We can never forget.
Laquan Treadwell. What are you talking about? A sweet spot?
Hey,
that's a massive
not every pick is going to hit. We just know
this. A huge hole in the boat. I
keep
seeing these graphics of Randy Moss and Percy Harvin, Justin Jefferson, and it's Jordan Addison now joins this Mount Rushmore, and it's
our Mount Rushmore was already full.
Yeah.
Yes, but no, it seems like getting a receiver around that 21 to 23, or really just getting a good player. You don't have to move up to get a good player in a lot of drafts. So that's good.
Exactly.
Hopefully he can take some of that star power into the NFL. His one season at USC, he took in 59 catches for 875 yards, which is a 14.8 average yards per catch. 8 receiving touchdowns, and this was only in 11 games. So,
no, very impressive.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see what he does for us. I know we didn't do a pre-draft episode like we typically do, but I definitely didn't anticipate a receiver being picked in our first round. I kind of was maybe thinking that Kwesi was going to do something similar to last year, maybe try to trade back a little bit or try to get more stock in that second round that we didn't do anything in this year. But after looking at it and then kind of doing a little bit of research, I was like, this is an interesting pick. We definitely needed to add something onto the offensive side of the ball now that we're losing Adam Thielen, and I'm pretty excited to see what this kid can do.
Absolutely. And I think, expecting KJ Osborne to shoulder that full load of being the number 2 wide receiver might have been a tall order. I mean, I think a lot of us believed in him and, but I'm just really happy that we have more depth at that position to have KJ Osborne as our true, I mean, he'll compete for that number 2 spot, I'm sure this year, but
Yeah,
to
nothing's
have
set in stone.
exactly either KJ Osborne or Jordan Addison as that true number 3, that's a pretty good position to be in. And, with Justin Jefferson getting double and triple covered, especially late last season,
We need it.
we did need it. It was a position of need. And I think throughout this offseason, through our signings, did we sign a lot of major stars? No, but I think we did put ourselves in the position to go into the draft and pick up the best player available in the first round. And I think we did.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
did know that. I can't quite find it, but I did see something that Adam Thielen, so KJ Osborne, it was something about separation versus man coverage. Because you look at Jordan Addison, and his big, huge thing is he's not a burner. He's not a Tyreek Hill. I would compare this guy, though, to, honestly, someone like Devontae Smith, or maybe a let's see here. He's not an Odell, right? He's not going to go downfield and drop amazing catches in man coverage. But this is a guy that kind of like Diggs. That's like a route runner, a separator right away at the line. So I think that's going to be the huge thing. And we didn't have that with KJ Osborne or Adam Thielen. I saw a stat that essentially said those guys were out of 150 qualifying receivers. Both of those guys were near the bottom at separation on the line versus man coverage. So creating separation from your route right away was something that KJ Osborne and Adam Thielen were terrible at in 2022. So getting a guy that can at the line and burn in the middle of the field, and then KJ's in a one-on-one. You can try him, because he's made spectacular catches before, but he's not that great separating from if he's got a guy on him in man coverage.
No, I agree with you. And I think a lot of what we're going to see with Addison this year now isn't even just him getting the ball, but the fact that we just put another weapon out in the pass game. And who is it going to open up? Does that mean Justin Jefferson's no longer going to be able to get double team, triple team? Does that mean KJ Osborne's going to be able to just run down the field and make a huge catch? Does that mean TJ Hawkinson is going to be able to just dominate the middle now because we have to other teams have to spread out their defense? So, no, like I said, at first it was kind of like, oh, I didn't expect that. But now having a few days to stew upon it, it's really, this is going to be good. This is exciting for the offense, especially with the uncertainty of what's happening with Dalvin Cook still. We couldn't have lost 2 big offensive weapons like Dalvin and Thielen and then expect to go into this next year being as strong on the offensive side of the ball. So, yeah, I'm excited. And I mean, it's always fun to get a high prospect. Like you said, Mikey, some people were saying he has the potential of being the best receiver in the draft. And then also getting him at such a late pick in the first round where we're not having to spend as much money as getting a early receiver in the first 10 or 15 picks.
Yeah, no, I think that can't be undervalued enough that we were able to stay at our spot and still get our guy. So, I mean, we were offered to trade back, but I think by the Chiefs and do you remember one other team?
Niners?
Something like that. They wanted to move up, but I think the Vikings were kind of nervous that their guy would be gone. So good on them for not taking the bait and still getting their guy. He is a little undersized, 5'11", 173 pounds. So, but I think he had a quote. He's already making just headline quotes. They're like, "Oh, how do you intend to, keep up in this league?" And he says, "Make plays, score touchdowns." It's that simple. I mean,
I think I saw one where it was like somebody asked him, "How are you going to play? How do you think the dome is going to affect your play?" And he's like, "I can play in a dome, I can play outside, and I can play in the streets." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I want to hear."
Love this guy. One more thing about him, he won the Biletnikoff Award, which was the nation's best receiver when he was at Pitt. And he was the first Pitt receiver to do that since Fitzgerald. So
That's very cool.
Just something to think about.
yeah, absolutely.
We do have a game changer here. I'm really excited.
Absolutely.
Most
Let's move
definitely.
on to our third round pick. That would be the 102nd overall pick, cornerback Mekhi Blackman from USC.
So we were supposed to pick at 87.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was the one we traded back, 15 spots. We didn't get future picks no, that was a later one. I think we traded back and we got like a future pick for next year from a different trade. But anyway, we traded back to this one. We got this guy from USC. He was another transfer to USC, just like Jordan Addison. He played there for 1 season. He spent 4 seasons with Colorado starting in 2018. But he made his 1 season at USC definitely count.
A little older then.
Yeah, a little older. Through his 5 total college seasons, he recorded 142 tackles, 5 interceptions, 1 sack, 24 pass breakups, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles. And here's the thing. In his 1 season at USC, he played all 14 games, and he came very close to doubling his total stats in that 1 season. Again, like I said, he had 142 tackles total. 66 of them came in his final season at USC.
Wow.
5 interceptions total. 3 of them came in that season at USC. 24 pass breakups. 12 came at USC. 1 fumble recovery and 1 forced fumble. Well, he had 2 before, so half of them came from USC. So about half of his notable stats came from his one final season there.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like just give this kid some playing time and you'll be rewarded. Because I was going to say, when you first started listing off the stats, I'm like, oh, that's not really super impressive. But then now hearing that a lot of that came at his time with USC, I mean, no, that's exciting. I mean, and we needed defense. That was one thing that I was a little concerned about going into this draft, especially knowing that we don't have a second round pick. It's like, how are you going to fill in a lot of these crucial spots we need to fill in, especially on defense? So,
and with the potential absence of Zadarius Smith or Daniil Hunter.
Yeah,
or both,
for sure.
Who knows?
Entirely true.
Everything's still on the table.
Mm-hmm. And we know cornerbacks are typically a spot we've been struggling with the last several seasons. So hopefully.
Were you guys weirded out at all that we didn't trade into the second round?
I kind of expected that we would, but I don't know. It seems like
I was expecting a Dalvin Cook for a second round pick trade at any second. I was just waiting for it to happen.
Never did though.
No, for sure. I mean, I kind of was. I don't know. Usually, I feel like typically the second round is really kind of the money round. That's a lot of times where you get the best value players and whatnot. Because a lot of times, first rounds, you usually tend to get the busts coming out, and second rounds are usually when you get those players who, I'm not a first round guy, so I really have to work for what I get.
They got a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder.
No, for sure. And
while still being some of the most talented guys to go in the draft.
I mean, still, you're going in the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. You are still one of the best people in the entire world at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, very true. This guy's smart though. He's back at school in USC, pursuing his master's degree in gerontology, which is the study of aging.
Ooh.
Yeah. So smart guy, a real academic.
I love that.
No, yeah, great stuff.
Wow. No, I mean, I'm excited about the pick. Like I said, I was expecting us at any second to trade Dalvin Cook to get into the second round. I was even kind of, staring at my Dalvin Cook jersey and kind of like,
so long.
I'm so sorry. I should have given you one last wear. Because I have my Teddy jersey now. Got my Dalvin jersey, and he'll be potentially on his way. I mean, it's already his old number, so it's half obsolete as is. But no, I mean, if this turns out to be a good pick, I'm really excited about it. Hey, line him up against Jordan Addison. They're both, I'm sure they did that at USC in practice all the time. So that'll be super exciting to see how that translates potentially to the Vikings.
Sure.
See if this guy can I mean, because we know Jordan Addison he's going to be number 2 or number 3. He's going to be starting,
He's getting
So it's
playing
just a
time
matter
for
of-
sure, yeah.
If this Blackman guy, maybe he'll be a starter as well. We'll see.
Mhm.
He'll have to duke it out with. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about a little bit of if we're going to try and flex this guy into a starting spot, because think about our corner depth right now, right? Caleb Evans, Andrew Booth, Mekhi Blackman.
He's going to get
This is
playing
a
time.
young secondary.
He's going to get a lot of playing time, but I'm worried about potentially inconsistency as far as how these guys are potentially like shuffling around. They might try one of them, in the slot. That didn't really work. Let's try this guy in the slot. I feel like you got a bunch of young corners that are unproven. We don't exactly know where they kind of fit into the defense. I'm worried that if we're shuffling these guys around, we might run into some inconsistency on the defense, which we're already facing anyways because these guys have such little experience. I don't know. I hope they figure it out in OTA and in preseason, and we have like a solid – everyone has their role by week 1. Because if we're still shuffling guys around by week 3 or 4, that's a bad sign.
We also can't forget that we were able to sign former Patriots cornerback Jawan Williams.
Forgot about Byron Murphy.
Oh, and Byron Murphy as well, of course. So, I mean, we do have some veteran depth, which is
that makes me
helpful.
feel
And
better.
I kind of forgot that we have
totally
that
forgot
veteran
about
depth.
that.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
We'll be fine. I forgot about Byron Murphy. He'll be number 1, and then maybe they'll maybe put Andrew Booth on the outside, and then it'll be a battle between is it Mikey or Mekhi?
I assumed it was Mikey.
Okay, Mekhi Blackman and Caleb Evans for the slot job, or Jawan Williams. I mean, I don't know. Okay, now I feel a little bit
need to
better
be
about that.
patient. I think that's just it. That's the big thing to remember going into this next season, especially on the pass defense, is patience is going to be key. Like you said, Cary, I think you really hit the nail on the head where it's like there's going to be a lot of testing periods. Like, how do you do in the slot? How do you do on the side? Who's doing better here? But like what you said, Mikey, I really, with Blackman, I'm kind of excited. He showed last season playing with a chip on his shoulder. Like we've been saying, hey, give me some playing time and I can show you what I can do. I can double all my collegiate.
Oh,
Lost you for a second, Austin. But yeah, he can double his collegiate statistics. He, like you said, he's got that chip on his shoulder. So yeah, it's super exciting. This is a fun time of year because it's all speculation, but we're getting closer to seeing what's actually going to happen with these players. It's going to be a whole lot less hypothetical coming up very soon.
Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on to our 4th round selection, picked 134th overall, safety from LSU, Jay Ward. Now,
from what I hear, a dog.
Yeah, he has been called contagiously competitive.
Which we need that on the pass defense. So yeah, I'm excited to hear that.
Versatile enough to play safety or nickel, sometimes in the same game when he was at LSU. So that's certainly something that the Vikings and a lot of teams, I'm sure, found very attractive about him as a prospect. And especially with this new Brian Flores defense, I think versatility is going to be – that's the name of the game here.
I'm salivating, thinking about him, kind of Brian Asamoah. If Lewis Seen can come back and he's like, he's aggressive too. We have an aggressive young core potentially coming, Ooh.
We do.
Yeah,
and we don't know where they're even going to play him. That's a great thing about
and
this.
And he might even sit for a year under Harrison Smith, kind of watch him, And I would assume once Harrison Smith retires, it's going to be, well, do we keep Brian Asamoah, depending on how he does this next season, kind of at that middle linebacker spot? Or do we shift him to safety since he played safety in college as well? And maybe Jay Ward will sit for a year and then take Harrison Smith's role. I have no idea. We also still have Cam Bynum.
We have Lewis Seen as well. Yeah. Lewis Seen still waiting in the wings. And again, it seems like his recovery is going super well. He's ahead of schedule. So this whole safety room with the emphasis on versatility is very exciting.
They're going to blitz the hell. It's all. Do you remember how cool it was when Kendricks and Barr, like Zimmer kind of had them in like the A and B gap, and then they'd either blitz or like drop into coverage, or one of them would blitz and the other would drop into coverage, but they're lined up in between the D tackles. I feel like, it's that level of creativity that we could potentially have with some of these safeties. Who knows?
Yeah, no, true. Not only will Jay Ward be reunited with his former championship teammates, JJ and Ed Ingram, but also his former LSU defensive backs coach, Durante Jones, who is a defensive backs coach for the Vikings. And
Really?
I mean, that was a huge thing for why the Vikings wanted him, why he wanted to come to the Vikings. They had a really good connection. So
Interesting. Huh.
yeah, definitely excited to see how that will progress. No, this is really exciting draft so far. Should we move on?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our 5th round pick, 141st overall, nose tackle Jacqueline Roy, another LSU guy.
I love the LSU boys.
You do. He's a big guy, 6'3", 305 pounds. He didn't start most of his games. He started 13 of 35 games for LSU, but he totaled 97 tackles. 46 of those were solo, 4 sacks, 13 and a half tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. Now, a comp that he has received by some people, some experts, is Dalvin Tomlinson, interestingly enough. And Dalvin Tomlinson played very well for us. Again, he wasn't a big stat monster, but he certainly did his job.
A big boy,
Absolutely, yeah. Again, he's another one who is said to be very versatile on the defensive line. This versatility, it's becoming a recurring theme with this growing defense. Yeah, I don't have really a lot to say about him. I didn't really know too much about him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you kind of get that when you
big
get
boy.
into the later draft.
You get into these later rounds, there's a little bit less research.
He might even start. Who knows?
He may. Who knows? And then if he does, we'll certainly find out more. Let's move on to our other 5th round pick, 164th overall QB Jaron Hall from BYU. I think this is actually a really great pick. Will he be a future starter? I don't know. But 6 foot, 207 pounds, maybe a little bit undersized.
That's not
arm strength is a little bit of a concern for a lot of teams, but he can make up for it with his accuracy, his willingness to extend plays, his ability to not take sacks. He has an excellent touchdown to interception ratio throughout his time at college, 52-11.
Yeah, and he's working under a QB that has typically has had a great touchdown to interception ratio.
That's true.
So.
Completed 65.2% of his passes. Rushed for 798 yards and 9 touchdowns in his career.
There are people that are saying Russell Wilson 2.0.
Really?
But there are also people that are
Wilson
saying Kellen Mond
2.0. I saw a comp.
It could go either way, really.
They said a comp for him was
Wilson are we
Gardner
talking about?
Minshew. So
Russell Wilson is in this guy has the Russell Wilson level skill set. It's just a matter.
Yeah, but are we talking about like Russell Wilson beginning Seattle, or are we talking Russell Wilson out in Denver?
Similar archetype to Russell Wilson.
Are we talking like he might just surprise everybody and take the starting job from Kirk?
No, I
don't think so, but
just a similar skill set. He can rush. He can similar body measurables.
Yep. They said Russ was undersized.
Exactly. Yeah. So but there are also people that are saying, as far as like Vikings picks go, this guy could end up just being Kellen Mond 2.0, where he's off the team. He gets moved to the practice squad after this year, then we never see him again.
It's possible, but he also does have that potential to be a solid backup this year, even.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll have to see how he plays in the preseason. He might be he'll be a guy to watch.
Absolutely.
Him throwing to Jalen Naylor.
Yeah. Last year, I know he put up some career highs in completions, attempts, passing yards, passing touchdowns, rushes, and rushing yards. So he's another guy who seems like he's only getting better.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mormon.
Yeah. Good to see a guy still growing after, multiple years playing in college. He went to BYU. I think they said in 2016 and 17 he was on his mission. So
Mormon.
Yeah. Maybe he and Kirk will have some intellectual, faith-based conversations.
That'll be funny. They can join a Bible group together.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, cool. He's going to be one that's really going to be exciting to see what turns out. And our last pick of the draft in the 7th round, 222nd overall, running back Dwayne McBride from UAB Birmingham. This guy might have actually been a pretty big steal. Mel Kiper and PFF, they both listed him as the 5th best RB in the draft.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, I don't know too much about this guy. When you get this far into the draft, there's a little bit less research. But I saw that was an interesting thing. Stands 5'10", 209 pounds, squats 550, which is more. That weight is more than the weight of Jordan Addison, Mekhi Blackman, and Jay Ward stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, one thing I think to remember is we still have a lot of potential running backs that could be free agents or move to other teams this offseason still. But I think that might be a reason why we didn't see a lot of running backs go on this draft this year. I mean, if you guys look at the list, it's insane. I mean, like Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, there's a bunch of these running backs that still potentially could go somewhere else. And
Zeke doesn't even have a job yet.
Yeah. So I think there's probably a good chance a lot of teams are more willing to bet on a seasoned running back than a brand new running back.
This pick cements the fact that someone from because if we keep all 5 guys, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, Kene Nwangwu, Ty Chandler, and now Dwayne McBride. That's 5 running backs, which is more than the Vikings have had on the final 53 in the past X amount of seasons.
You can't forget about CJ Ham either.
Well, CJ Ham slots into the fullback spot, but as far as people at the running back position, that's 5 guys. So, if you take Dalvin Cook potentially out of the equation, then you have 4. That's a little bit more of a reasonable number. So does this 7th round, 222nd overall pick cement the fact that Dalvin Cook is leaving?
It certainly adds to that kind of a signal there.
I wouldn't say cement the fact, but we're mixing the concrete right now.
Yeah.
Good one.
No, I just wanted to kind of have like a clickbait kind of, this 7th round pick seals Dalvin Cook's future.
Dalvin Cook's fate sealed. Got some stats about him, though. 30 games at UAB, 484 carries for 3,523 rushing yards, which is 7.3 yards per carry. 36 touchdowns from 2020 to 2022. Last season, he rushed for 1,713 yards and 19 touchdowns. And he led the FBS with 7.35 yards per carry. And according to Will Raggets of Sports Illustrated, 1,072 of his rushing yards came after contact.
I'd be curious as to find out how that quarterback played at UAB, because some colleges are more rush oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going into next season, we're going to be a pass first team. I don't think it's a question. I think we're going to be going pass and then run the ball instead of what we've typically been, where it's to get the pass game started, we need to run the ball. So I don't know. Those numbers are exciting. I mean, especially for a 7th round pick, that's very glitz and glammy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, those are our 2023 draft picks.
Excellent.
So thanks for sticking with us through that part, but we've got more. Austin,
we
take it
do.
away.
So this year, like we said, it's a very exciting draft class that we've had. But one thing that I think we were all kind of shocked about is we did not trade into the second round pick to get a second round pick. So the question I have for you guys is, how well do you remember last season? Mikey, you got the point last episode. So Cary, you can choose to defer or take it. But the question is, last year during the draft, what round did Minnesota not have a draft pick in? You want to take it, or do you want to?
I'm going to defer to Mike. I'm going to kick off.
No.
So Mikey, do you need me to
I have an
repeat the
idea
question?
of what it could be, but I want to see what Mikey thinks.
No, I don't need you to repeat. What round did they not have a draft pick in? Oh, gosh. Let's go.
And if you need to list off the draft picks of last year, that could help you.
I'm not going to help Cary. I'm just going to go with fourth round. Final
Fourth
answer.
round. Final answer. Cary, did that help you at all?
That was potentially what I was going to say. But now that Mikey's locked in his answer, I can kind of think out loud here. So,
yeah.
We obviously had a first because that was Lewis Seen.
Yes.
We had a second.
2 seconds.
Oh, thanks, Austin. We had 2 seconds. Part of me wanted to say third round because I'm trying to think about the rookie class from last year. I think it may have been third round. I don't think
Austin, don't give him any more hints.
I won't.
I want to say third, but fourth would have been my next answer. I'm going to say...
I think this might be my hardest question I ask all season, so...
I'm going to say... Well, so how does this work? If we both get it wrong, how does it work?
Closest, probably. It's usually how it goes. Closest number.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's my assumption. I don't know. You make the rules this season, but...
In that case, I'm going to go fifth round pick.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, we have history. Nobody's getting a point this week because we had a pick in every single round. It's a great question.
It's a trick. It's a trick. Oh, no. I didn't see that coming.
It sticks with 1-0. Cary, since you deferred and you still are the last one to score, you will get the question again first next week. But yeah, so keep your wits up, guys. I'm going to be doing this a lot this year. This is going to be a very interesting year. I'm going to test your wits and memory. But yeah,
Okay.
So we had a pick in every single round last year.
God, if it comes down to 1 point,
trick.
if it comes down to 1 point, we're going to remember. We're going to remember this one.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was good. You know, when you said that we didn't have a pick in a certain round, well, I guess you didn't say it, you suggested it. Yeah. I totally believed it. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Cary,
well,
seems like you've got something you'd love to talk about.
Yeah, I got a little something up my sleeve, but I'm going to need you guys to stall for approximately about 15 seconds. All right?
15 seconds.
I need a little bit of a costume change.
A costume change. Okay.
You go do that. Ooh, side note for our fans at home, Michael Kelpikoff just got some pretty big news yesterday.
I did.
Would you like to share that, Mikey?
I did. I'm not sure if I'm technically allowed to share it yet, but
okay, never mind.
You know, I mean, I can say that I have been cast in something with a certain company. So, you know, you'll find out some more soon because I'm not sure if I really can say it.
Okay, gentlemen, are you ready?
We will. We'll get there. Let's do it.
Okay, gentlemen. I bet you're wondering why I have scrubs on and a little stethoscope here. We can check this. Check. Mic check. Yep.
I sure am wondering why you have that, Dr. Cary.
What's
I've
going
got
on,
I've got a little story to tell. So I'm gonna share my screen here. We gotta talk about Mikey's trip to the bank. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, hear you great.
I can hear you
Perfect.
perfect. What bank is this? Are we talking about like Wells Fargo?
I want to first start off with a quote. Icarus flew too close to the sun, but at least he flew. It is from Jeremy Robert Johnson. I don't know if this person wrote this or I don't know. I just wanted a quote about Icarus. There it is. Here we have Mikey. You know, we all know and love Mikey, right? Instrumental part of this show, right? So here we have Mikey. Can you guys see my cursor?
No, I can't, but I can see the photos.
Yeah, we see the photos.
Okay. Well, we got Mikey here. You know, he's hanging out. He's at the podium. You know, he's pretending he's Quasi. You know,
Yeah,
and then
that's me.
Here's in the locker room. You know, he's sniffing jock straps. You know, doing all that stuff, right? And then, oh look, Mikey on the field. There he is. He's probably, you know, he's like, "What's up?" You know, look at me. I'm on the field. So I'm seeing these photos, and I think this is a man who's enjoying his time at US Bank Stadium. You know, you get to go on a tour. It's once in a lifetime, right? Austin, have you been on a tour of US Bank Stadium?
I've not been of US Bank. I did get a tour of the Metrodome, though.
So you've not had a tour of US Bank Stadium.
Nope,
I have not had a tour of US Bank Stadium. That's, you know, that's 1 out of 3 of us. You know, I'm sure if I asked,
Mikey, you must be so lucky.
I'm sure if I asked random Joes in my apartment, they would also say, yeah, I haven't really toured US Bank Stadium. Now, even if one did, like, oh yeah, I toured it last year, whatever. My follow-up question to them would be, well, did you get to catch a touchdown in US Bank Stadium?
Well,
how many people get
Mikey?
a chance to do that, right?
No, not many.
Not many, but something happened, right? Oh, geez. Where did my presentation go?
Something happened indeed.
Ah, geez. This is failing. Okay.
Do we need to start
do you
over?
see it
or
now?
are you gonna
Is
do
it
this
back?
thing? I can't see it yet.
Not yet. We can't.
Oh, what is happening? This is failing. I'm just building suspense. Okay, here we go. So here's Mike. You know, he's enjoying his time. But then we get this lovely moment. Now, I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to hope that the sound works on this. I'm just going to let it ride. Here we go. This is Mikey catching a touchdown in US Bank Stadium. Roll the clip. Oh, my God. Let's get that one more time.
Oh, viewer discretion is advised.
Yep.
So let's walk through it in slow motion. First, did you have volume on that?
I did not hear anything.
Kind of. You can kind of hear it a little bit.
Okay. So let's walk through it. Here's Mike, right?
Running
Great
crisp
break at the
route.
line.
Look at that route.
You can tell he's got some speed here, right? He's running a basic hitch route, you know. Here he makes his turn. He sees the eyes of the quarterback.
Keeping the eyes on the ball. Keeping the eyes on the
He's
ball.
got the eyes on the ball. He sees he's got the theoretical defensive back behind him fooled. So he cuts back on his hitch route here, turns, right? Plants with his left foot.
Perfect form.
Perfect form already. Yep. Now he just need to rotate. Got that right foot planted. Boom. Now I want you guys to pay attention to where his feet land here. So
what a shuffle
that was
step,
kind of
though.
the initial plant. Now he's making his full pivot turn. Now, boom, right there. Look where that right foot plants. Now, get out your kind of visual rulers here. Let's take a look at how far this foot slides. Boom, right there.
Oh,
Look at that slide. So that's like kind of doing the stanky leg here a little bit, right? Now, Mikey, first of all, what are you thinking right here? You know, you got it planted. What are you thinking right here?
Oh, right here. I'm thinking, oh, this is 6 points. Easy.
Now it's gonna be 6 points. But so Mikey plants. Boom. Now what are you thinking right here?
I'm thinking, gotta make the catch. I might be going down.
So Mikey, he catches the ball, right?
The leg doesn't stop moving.
That's 6. Great. You didn't haul. You didn't catch it with your chest, which that was a big problem in the backyard with me and my dad. My dad would throw bullets. Instead of catching them with my hands like a man, I would catch them in my chest. You catch it with your hands, Justin Jefferson would be proud, right? So
haul it in.
you haul it in. Boom. Secure the catch.
Now, I see what went wrong. You shouldn't have lifted that foot.
You secure the catch. Now I can tell what you're trying to do here is you're trying to plant your left foot and adjust your left foot to kind of stand upright. Because, right, you're not wearing cleats. Let's go back here. You slid. Boom. Now, in your head, you're thinking, okay, got to secure the catch, plant my left foot, and then bring my right foot back in. But, let's take a look at this knee. Does that look natural for a knee to be in that position?
No, that's bad. That is.
It's going to get worse.
So, Mikey, wait, before you go any further, when was the oh shit moment?
It was about right here. I mean, maybe a little before, about when I picked up that other foot, to maybe, because that other one, I had my weight.
It's not moving anymore.
That one wasn't going, it wasn't coming back. So I think my next best strategy was to pick up my left foot.
You're kind of picking yourself up with your left foot. You're kind of dragging your left foot, or you're kind of you want your left foot to be able to kind of plant and use the weight on your left foot to bring your right one back up. But that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Now, I said it's going to get worse. Let's continue. So it looks like a pretty normal stance here, right? It looks like Mikey's just kind of lunging, right? But then you look at his right foot, it is still facing the other direction.
It is almost a complete 180 degrees opposite of your left foot.
It's the illusion. It's the perspective. If you look at that, you don't really necessarily see it. I mean, and that has to do with just the angle of the shot.
Now, this is where we get kind of the theoretical crunch. I'm kind of thinking
you can see it in his face.
Yeah, this right angle that has kind of been formed between Mikey's knee and his outer leg, that's probably where, we get the pressure of it now, Mikey. What are you thinking right here?
At this point, I've definitely felt the snap. My kneecap has popped. Can we see it? I don't know. The resolution is probably not good enough to see. But at this point, the kneecap it's not in place anymore.
Right.
So this is actually something that I have feared for many years happening, and I will say the initial pain. Oh my gosh. It's not easy to watch. I will say the initial pain. It's not as bad as I anticipated, but
it looks like your face right now in that photo.
Oh,
oh my Lord. Yeah. Let's get I'm going to do a shift command Q. Oh, geez.
Nice job.
And we just got to let the fans know this was not the first take either.
No, there was another take.
Immediately grab the leg, right?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
God.
Well, you can see it just hanging there.
Oh.
Reverse is so good.
All right, one more time. Run it back in full speed, and then I'll slow-mo it. Oh. So you can hear Mikey sort of say, "Well, I'm coming to get it." Is that what you said, Mikey?
That was actually somebody else in the shot saying, "I'm coming to get it," because in the shot before, the pass was batted down, and I guess I am glad that I didn't get injured while also being interfered with, because I think.
Oh, yep, and then here we go, the aftermath.
They ran out of wheelchairs also, so they brought in a wheelie chair.
How many people got injured that they ran out of wheelchairs?
I don't know. They just didn't have one, or maybe I don't know. They didn't have a wheelchair.
That's my presentation. I'll run it in slow motion. one more time just for the full effect. But, geez. Oh, God.
So, Mikey, while he's getting this ready, can you give us the injury report and what you have on the docket coming up this week to help with your...
One more time in slow motion here.
So there's the slide.
It's just
that slide. That's like a yard.
Yeah, wear cleats.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Nobody forced me to go out onto the turf and play catch. I went out on my own free will. Though I will add that if we're getting into the turf versus grass debate, turf is dangerous. That is just what I will say. Turf is dangerous. But as far as that full injury report goes, the Vikings did place me on IR. I will not be back to full football activities for another 6 to 9 months.
I would say 6 to 9 years before. I mean, maybe you can start doing like some jogging.
Maybe more like 6 to 9
dancing. But as far as you catching touchdowns in the end zone, I don't know, Mikey. I'd be
I don't know. My playing career might be over. You know, you see guys have less severe injuries than I had, and it affects the rest of their career. So
the final diagnosis was what? So I need
final diagnosis
for my notes here.
Yes, I will be going into surgery on Cinco de Mayo. So that'll be a fun way to celebrate, bring in the holiday. Threefold. To my knowledge, and I'm no doctor, you know, as I like to say, I'm no doctor. I have some loose body cartilage that is unattached now from my femur. I believe they said that they will try to reattach it if there is still a small piece of bone attached to said cartilage. If not, they will remove it. So either reattached or removal. Second thing, I believe it is my MPFL ligament. It is on the inside part of my knee that snapped, and that is what caused, you know, the kneecap to go to the outside. So they will need to repair that. And third, I have certain risk factors just in my bones that make these kinds of things happen. You know, your kneecap sits in like a groove.
Yeah.
Or like a valley. Mine are shallow, so they say. So if anyone has ever called me shallow, that is what they are referring to. So what is going to happen?
Whatever helps you sleep at night, bud.
Yes. They are going to basically dig out a new valley for my kneecap so that they don't sit so high. With those things, if I don't do those things, they say the possibility of another injury like this happening, they put around 60 to 70%. If I get the surgery and all goes well, they put it down to about 10 or 15%.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So, and I know what you may be thinking. If they relocate one of my kneecaps, am I going to feel all like lopsided in my legs?
I was not thinking that, but now I am.
I was thinking that immediately. And I did ask, and they said long-term, no, not at all.
Okay.
So you might have to just short-term get like a shoe that has a little thicker, or get a...
I have no idea.
Or something.
I don't know. Maybe. Crutches for 6 weeks is what they say, and that's really not too bad.
No.
But I won't be able to go back to, you know, full, you know, my usual athletic self for 6 to 9 months, depending on how recovery and physical therapy goes. So
don't worry, Mikey, you're still a dog in our heart.
Thank you. It's certainly a tour and a story and an injury that I will never forget. So if you are watching a Vikings game either on TV or at the stadium, just think about the south side of the end zone, you know, the side with the smaller video board, the side where the Vikings enter from. And if you look at the top of the N in Vikings in that end zone, just know that is where one of your 3 favorite Vikings podcast hosts had a career changing, a career altering injury.
Never forget.
So just think about that.
All in good fun. And I'm glad we can laugh about it now.
Oh, me too.
I originally laughed about
funny.
it right away as well. Like the second I saw the video for the first time, I pretty much pissed my pants laughing. But then I thought you just kind of like went, "Oh God, pulled a hammy."
No.
Now I kind of learned the severity of it. It's a little less.
The minute I saw that foot sliding, I knew it was done for you.
Yeah. You know, I would say like the first couple of days, I still thought it was like really funny. The severity didn't hit me. Then I got really sad about it for a couple of days. I'm just like, you know, I can see. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good now, you know, optimistic. Things are certainly looking up. But I do certainly see how if somebody has an injury, I mean, imagine if you're an NFL player and you have an injury like this is what you've been doing your entire life.
It's a season-ending injury, literally.
Season-ending, possibly career-ending. Like this, we joke, but obviously playing football is not my career, never has been, never been a dream of it, you know?
Yeah.
But I can see how people can spiral with some kind of an injury like that. So check in on your friends for the mental health. That's the moral of my story.
We love you, Mikey. We're very glad that we can laugh about it and
Me too.
You know, make it lighthearted. We are really pulling for you and hope that all goes well with surgery and things. But
we wish you the best.
Got a once in a lifetime opportunity. You just fumble the bag.
I didn't fumble. That's still 6 points.
Yeah, that's still 6.
1 week on the shelf for every point. Just think about it like that.
Yep, true. They just saw a little bit of my potential. So when I do get back, and I'll be back, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and you better watch out for your jobs. No, but in all seriousness, I'm going to be all right.
Cool.
Yeah. We're glad to hear it.
Cool.
What position would you be in, do you think, based on your measurables? You don't have to like out loud say your measurables, but like where would you think you?
You know, it seems like wherever they want me to be, you know, I feel like I'm pretty versatile, you know. If they want to put me out wide or have me as a tight end, you know, I'm cool with either one.
No
Coach, where do you want me? I want you on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean,
my dad and I always used to make fun of the water people. I mean, yeah, water boy is like the name, but like, you know, these guys are like losing a game and they're on the field and they're all pissed. It's like, do you need more water? They're like
and sometimes they're just like, sometimes they're pretty short with the water people. They're like, get that out of my face.
Or just throw the bottle right at them. Don't even hand it to them.
Yeah.
True.
No, for sure.
Right. You know, if we're done with this, and we might not ever be done with this, you know, but for now, let's move on to our next segment. Let's talk a little bit around the league. So, Aaron Rodgers, he's out of here.
Deuces.
Big day.
See you later, dude. He's the AFC's problem now.
Yeah, I mean, this is exciting,
team
especially for the division for a lot of teams. If I was, for example, I think Detroit Lions should probably be really ecstatic, and also Chicago. Now they need to find a new owner of the team because Rodgers is gone. But no, it's very exciting. We get to see a different NFC North. I mean, Green Bay's had kind of a stranglehold on that QB up here in the North for what, almost 30 years?
Yeah.
And now this is like the first opportunity where we're going to start to see something different. And if I was Kirk Cousins, I'd be very excited. You probably are looking at the most lethal QB in the division right now. No, it's very good. I'm excited for it.
That's probably really true.
The Jets should be really excited.
God, that offense. Good luck.
I do think it's funny though. He's talking all about like, oh, the Packers never gave me any weapons, blah blah blah. Then he wants all of the Packers to go over to New York and join him. Did they give Alan Lazard like a 5-year mega deal?
Alan Lazard, Mecole Hardman. Who's the third guy there?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but you are right. That offense they're good, and they already had a top 10 defense last year.
Oh, Garrett Wilson, offensive rookie of the year. And you have Corey Davis.
Mm-hmm.
You got arguably what looked like the offensive rookie of the year, Breece Hall.
Yeah. Before that injury.
You got Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Connor McGovern, some stars on that O-line.
Can't forget about Vikings legend Tyler Conklin.
Yeah. That team is
DJ Uzomah.
Now the defense, outside of Sauce Gardner and maybe a couple other key guys, I guess, none of those guys are like all pro or Pro Bowl. So, maybe like a Pro Bowl nod, but none of these guys are household names. So, if this defense had like Philly's defense, we might be talking about a dynasty for the next 5 to 6 years. But
I know they had a pretty good secondary last year. Seemed like kind of a young defense also, but certainly up and coming. It is interesting that he, was excited to move to one of the most competitive divisions in the AFC. But certainly, if the Jets were just a quarterback away, this was the right move. And it seemed like last year they were pretty much a quarterback away.
Yeah, but I would argue the competitiveness of that division doesn't come from talent. I think it comes from kind of lack of talent. It's not like the Bengals, not the Bengals, like the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Raiders, where it's like, oh wow, there's a lot of teams playing pretty well. I think the fact now that the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, he's hands down the best QB in that division. I think their biggest threat is Dolphins.
What about the Bills though?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the Bills. Yeah, the Bills. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, but I don't know. I think there's a good chance that he's going to be able to kind of sneak in. And
God, that's going to be must-watch TV.
Bills against Patriots, though, that's really nice. And 2 games against the Dolphins, where I think, depending on if the Dolphins can figure out what they're doing with the running back position, I think he's going to have a good time with.
I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I think Patriots finish not only 4th in that division, I think they're going to have the worst record in the league next year.
No, I could see it. I could see it.
It just, all this uncertainty of, even Mac Jones is 5 years. Mac Jones's name was getting brought up in trade stuff this offseason. I bet that kind of hit his morale a little bit. I am thinking Patriots are going to have their worst season to date, and Bill might even retire at the end of it too. Who knows?
Oof. Yeah. It is only a matter of time for Bill. If we go back to the NFC side, how Rodgers leaving affects the NFC, and specifically the NFC North, that Detroit Lions hype train has kind of been at an all-time high this offseason. People are ready to crown them the champions of the North. I think, we're forgetting they had a big scandal. They had, 4 players I think are suspended for at least 6 games for gambling.
Jameson Williams.
Yep.
He's looking like a bust. Somebody call him a bust at this point.
At this point,
you won that trade.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, they might just be the same old Lions.
Plus they're 2 draft picks. What was that?
Yep. They already have DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery, 2 very talented running backs. Montgomery hasn't really when healthy, but they got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then they used their first round pick, not even to get the top running back. They I don't know that they say that they settle, because they obviously do a lot more research than we do here, especially more than I do.
Bad. You look at that war room, they were high-fiving,
Yeah, what was – I don't know.
And some are calling that middle linebacker from Iowa pick quite the reach as well.
Really?
Yeah.
They also – I feel like last year they had they had a really good rookie middle
linebacking core.
linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I would have gone O-line with the pick.
Yeah, probably. I mean, these Lions.
Maybe a couple of those reasons and the fact that we know Aaron Rodgers is leaving this year. Do you think maybe that's why the Vikings weren't super aggressive on adding a lot of new defensive pieces this year?
It's possible.
I think we're kind of maybe not. I don't like to say coasting in professional sports because it just sounds bad. But do you think maybe we're kind of just relying on the pieces we do have and a couple small alterations here and there because we know the division isn't changing for the better as a whole?
I think that's we know absolutely a factor.
The Packers are digressing. They have to put Jordan Love in, and it's going to be different. I mean, I don't want to say new QB, but it's a new starting QB. He's been around the franchise for a little bit that he should know how the plays are run and how the team operates. But like you said, I mean, I think Detroit is our biggest threat. And I know they lost 6 players, but that team is just – I think it's probably one of the most high morale teams in the entire NFL. Lose or win, it's just a team that really loves each other, loves the coaching, loves the identity they've had through the last couple of years. So I'm kind of just worried about that because they give us problems. They give us a lot of headaches. And I mean the Bears, I'm a little worried about, but I think it's a work in progress. Like I don't think it's gonna be something you see right away. I think they're kind of at the point where it's like, yep, we're building a team that's going to be a big threat in maybe like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's true. The Bears draft was kind of interesting. I mean, smart pick. They picked a O-lineman in their first round. And then I think their next couple of picks, well, they picked, I think, 2 defensive tackles in the second and third round. I know they really have to start pretty much from scratch with their defense. Mm-hmm. But it was certainly weird to see. You know, I think they picked, because they had 2 second-round picks. They picked a D tackle, a cornerback, and then a D tackle in the third round as well.
That defense was terrible. I mean, I get it.
It was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Roquan Smith leaving definitely, it showed.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of the draft, just super quick, I did just see that the Minnesota Vikings draft picks numbers were unveiled. Now we knew that Jordan Addison was going to be sporting his college number 3. Mm-hmm. Here we got Kai Blackman, he rocking 11 as a cornerback. Interesting. Ward, number 20.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. Number 78 for our D tackle. That's pretty cool. Quarterback, number 16. Now, let's think back. Do we remember a number 16 quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in the last 10 years? Because I do. Mr. Matt Castle. And then McBride rocking 37. So, yeah.
Interesting. Looking at the Packers draft, they did a similar thing to what the Bears did, except they took tight ends in consecutive rounds.
Makes sense.
I know,
though.
You know, Bob Tunyon. Yeah. Bob Tunyon's a Bear now, so I mean, they certainly had a need.
Yeah, and I mean, also especially with a new starting QB. Again, I don't want to use the term new because Jordan Love, this is his 3rd or 4th year now, so he's been around the league. But I mean, it's really nice to have solid tight end options on those checkdowns and kind of just having a presence for a QB who's new to a system, even though he's not new to the system, but new to this being the starter in the system.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think, he's learned in his few years sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. I mean, people have, commented on it in the few games that he's gotten to play. And I saw it, when Rodgers was out and I saw Jordan Love there. I mean, even his mechanics looked a lot like Aaron Rodgers. So his mechanics and the way he goes through his reads, Rodgers relied a lot on his tight ends, Bob Tunyon, especially in these last couple of years. I mean, certainly it's a position of priority for the Packers. just seems weird to me that they, invested 2 early picks in the same position.
Whatever their run first team, they're Jordan Love might not be thrown. They might shift their philosophy.
Yeah, I think there's going to be
And
a
if
lot
they're
of
run first team, you got to beef up a little bit.
There's going to be a lot of short passes, screen passes. There's going to be a lot of involving the running backs, tight ends. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers finish kind of low next season at deep passes, or I bet they're going to finish pretty high in yards after the catch, though. That's kind of my hot take on them.
Yeah, I mean, they still have their guy Christian Watson. He was, starting to break out last year. Can't forget about him. So he can make a lot of stuff happen.
I did just find just real quick, going to go over some of the notable free agents left after the draft, if that's all right.
All right, yeah.
Some notables on this list. Leonard Floyd, formerly of the Rams. Jadeveon Clowney, former number 1 overall pick. Frank Clark, Isaiah Wynn, offensive lineman from the Patriots. Shaquille Griffin, former corner from the Jags. Marcus Peters. Yannick Ngakoue, former Viking. Kareem Hunt. Zeke Elliott. Leonard Fournette. Teddy Bridgewater. Dalton Risner, which some people wanted on the Vikings. Good guard from the Broncos. Kyle Van Noy, Jarvis Landry, Shelby Harris, Byron Jones, Kenny Golladay, Justin Houston, Casey Hayward, Julio Jones, Logan Ryan, Carson Wentz, Anthony Barr, Matt Ryan, Eli Apple, and Sammy Watkins. Some notables from the long list of free agents.
Yeah, definitely.
Got some older names on that list.
Old.
Yeah.
But no, for sure. I mean, isn't that weird? Like hearing like Julio Jones, Matt Ryan.
Julio Jones looking for a job,
But it's just like 10 years ago.
It's like
teams to just kill to have these guys, but
yeah,
that's getting old.
One position that I do hope that we are not done looking at, and I mean, it was a problem last year, I think, just due to age and speed. I'd really love to see us get one more guy in our linebacker room.
Yep. Because Jordan Hicks is not going to be able to. I mean, we will just have to expect Brian Asamoah is going to be the starter, and he will be leading our at middle linebacker, because you look at the amount of times I said this last season, Kendricks and Hicks throw a swing pass to a running back on either side. Neither of those dudes are able to catch up.
Yeah.
Because then you have your outside linebackers, Daniil Hunter and Smith. They're rushing the passer. You've got these guys who are throwing swing passes to running backs, and Kendricks and Hicks just weren't able to keep up. Asamoah should be able to do that. But you're right. We need another speedy linebacker.
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, that's kind of like my biggest concern and kind of criticism about this offseason / draft now is we knew that the defense is what was killing us. We knew that was what was preventing us from playing our best ball. And what do we do to fix it? In fact, I would say we might have even gone into a worse position by letting go a lot of key guys and not getting proper replacements. And I think it's a lot of wishful thinking, even though I know sometimes we're the king of wishful thinking in Minnesota, that these young rookies are going to come in and be the solution. And maybe they are, but it's a lot of pressure to put on young players. And I don't know, maybe there's still some time that we can do a trade or do some sort of free agent signing to fill in these spots. But that's the big thing right now is offensively, I think we're looking good. I think we've done enough that we can lose a guy like Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. Defensively, though, could we have lost Patrick Peterson? Could we have lost Eric Hendricks and get by or be better? Because that's the whole goal is going from one season to the next is how do I get better? And I don't know. I haven't seen us do something to make that transition yet. And I think that's where we're sitting right now as a fan base is just watching what this front office is going to do to fill in these holes in the boat.
Yep, these are questions that we will hopefully have answers to very soon in the coming weeks or months as we start going into OTAs and training camp. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be here. We'll be ready to talk about it. Do you guys have anything else that you really need to get off your chest?
This was a fun episode.
This was a fun episode. Thank you so much for being here, you guys, and everybody listening or watching.
Thank you, Mikey, for being a good sport and letting us kind of ring you a little new one for your injury.
No, always. It's funny, actually. You know, I work as a sub teacher, and a lot of kids don't ask. You know, they don't really care. But I worked at a school where just about every class, kids were asking what happened. And I told them what happened. And after I told them, I said, "Do you want to see it? I have it on video." And they're all like, "Yes." So I ended up playing the video, you know, on the board. And I stopped. I went through it like slow motion, step by step. Not nearly as well as you did, Cary. But so thank you for that. And I told them,
I prepared. I did my homework on this video. You know?
And I told them, I'm like, it's okay to laugh. Like, it's kind of funny. Some kids laughed, some kids just cringed, but
did you get any of that? Like,
Yep. Certainly a lot of that. But thanks again, guys. Really appreciate you guys being here. And once again, to everybody listening or watching, thank you for constantly, you know, supporting us through all of this. And we'll be back at you soon. All right, then. We'll talk to you later.
See you later.
All right, welcome to the after show. Here we go again. Back on it, boys.
We are. Sorry
really
to throw you
tricked us
guys
with that
such a
question,
curveball
honestly.
today.
Hey, you know what? I mean, I appreciate the creativity with the questions.
Yeah.
Certainly, these are going to be things that the rest of us will be keeping in mind in the upcoming seasons, though.
Mm-hmm. There might be some more trick questions, so don't be scared to go against the grain on it.
Noted. You know, before this episode started, you know, Cary gave me a challenge. You know, we were talking about, you know, some plans for the summer. And well, Cary, I don't know if you said on the show that
what was the context of the
what are some things that
conversation?
you're involved in this summer?
Oh yeah, I'm playing guitar for a production of Mamma Mia, and Mikey goes, "Well, you know what I say." I was like,
You know what I always say?
"No, I don't." And he said, "What, Mamma Mia, Papa Pia?"
Is it Mamma Mia, Papa Pia?
I was like, "I've never heard you say that ever." And you said something about, I'll slip it into the next show or something like that.
You said if you don't say it in the next show, you're a fraud.
That's cool.
So
we
right
all
off
got
the bat, within the first 20. Well, Mamma Mia, Papa Pia, let's get into this thing. You know,
That's cool. So
I was kind of hoping to
all...
slip it in later, but I didn't want to forget about it.
Yeah,
well, that is funny. Yeah, it was an
Could make that
interesting
my
start
catchphrase.
to the episode. I was kind of wondering. I'm like, what is okay? I'm like, here we go. I guess if you want to start like that, that's a never heard you say that in my life, but okay.
Yeah, there it is. There it is, right there. Oh,
What are you talking about? I say that all the time. It's my catchphrase.
Speaking of Mamma Mia, did you guys see the Mario movie?
Not yet. I
did.
still need to go see it. I heard Jack Black killed it though.
He did.
Stole the show. I saw it. I went to the Strokes and the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Fargo Dome, and I was mainly going to see the Strokes, me and my friend Brogan, but we sat through some of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's like, all right, we kind of get the point. But in my head, I
You
was thinking,
hear one song, you've heard them all. That's
yeah,
like my.
I was like, I was like, oh God, what if we went to the Mario movie? In my head, 10 minutes later, without me saying anything, he goes, "You want to go to the Mario movie?" I immediately, like, literally during Can't Stop, I'm booking the tickets. So it's like, can't stop, and I'm sitting there like trying to find tickets. And yeah, we went to the Mario movie, and I heard friends that went during the day, and it was like kids. It was all just a bunch of kids, and like people were like when like Luigi fell through the spoiler alert, fell into the like other realm or whatever. Like kids were like screaming because they thought he died. Like all this stuff. I was hearing these from like my friends that went during the day, but we went at 10:30, like the second night that it was opened. It was a packed house, and it was all couples. It was all couples. Yeah. And me and my friend Brogan.
Were you in the Dream Loungers?
Yeah.
Yep. No, when I went, it was a pretty empty theater. You know, there wasn't a lot of people. Really good experience. I figured Illumination would do a really good job.
I know there was by that. It looked like a Despicable Me movie, and that really did kind of take me out of it a couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it did not take me out of it. Honestly, I know there was some controversy over some of the casting. People are like, "Oh, Chris Pratt, really?" But I think he did a really good, surprisingly enough to me, he did a good enough job. Like I
noticed it right away.
Like, this is Chris Pratt the whole time. No, he did a good enough job. He committed to the character, but again, like you said, Jack Black stole the show. And honestly, Seth Rogen as DK, I liked him a lot better than I thought I would.
Yeah, it was cool. Charlie Day did great as Luigi, and yeah, it was a great cast and great experience. It was a pretty okay. I mean, it was a PG movie about Mario. You know, what do you
know? And what did you expect? Yeah.
Plot wise, it was not a very thick plot, but it didn't have to be. You know, it didn't have to be. It was fun, and I think it really does open the door for a possible, like Mario Brothers universe. You know, which if this was going on when I was a kid, like I'm pretty hyped about it now, but
oh God, yeah! What if they get like Sonic in it and they do like an Olympic Games thing? And
yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I'd have been losing my mind about this as a kid. So
for sure.
That was one of the first things you and I bonded over, Mike. Was you had what was it, Mario and Luigi, and they were like inside of something?
Was that the DS game?
Yeah.
Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah.
They like shrunk down and they were like going on some adventure through Bowser's internal organs.
That was
It's
awesome.
Actually a very good game. It sounds super weird.
We had so much fun playing that.
It's a good one.
Like passed back and forth. Wow. So going back to the movies. So, when we were kids, you used to be able to go to Little Falls, see a movie for what? Like $4, $5, $7,
$7 maybe. Yeah,
dirt cheap any night, not certain nights. It was always just the same price. Mm-hmm. And the popcorn was $3, drink was like $2. Really, if you play your cards right, you're spending less than $15. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, with like the hiked up prices, for the Marcus theaters, it's like $5 Tuesdays. But other than that, it's like when we went during the Chili Peppers, the two of our tickets together was close to $30. And then we did snacks after that. Like that's an insane, outing. You're talking $20 for a movie.
So
and like not even for us, but like I mean, like think about like kids in high school who like you're going on a date or a first date or whatever, and you
don't have any money.
Yeah, like it's gonna cost them like almost $60 plus to get tickets, get snacks. And that doesn't even include if they want to go do something before or after the show. So, no, I agree. I think, I don't know. And I guess why they have to do it with the streaming. And now everything is kind of you can do it at home. But it is sad because I love the movie theater. I hope it's not like the drive-ins and it's a dying thing because there is something special about going to a theater.
Well, in Little Falls, they're revamping the Falls Theater. It's going to become not only a theater experience, but also they're attaching a restaurant to it. Like it's going to be this huge thing. Like
it's going to
draw people in from all over.
They're still going to have like a movie theater, but they're also having a live performance space as well.
Yes, and restaurant. It's going to be the new cultural epicenter of Little Falls for art.
Well, it should. I mean,
excited
like
for that.
they need to put money into the theater. So, I mean, hopefully most.
And they
of our
are. They're gutting the
listeners-
whole thing. It's going to be a huge deal. So I'm
Well, 'cause
excited about that.
it's a little beat up, but it's beautiful on the inside. I love how the Little Falls Theater is kind of laid out. It's for listeners who don't know, it's a very old school, like 1930s, 1940s style theater, and
Yeah.
it's So no, I hope it doesn't go because I have many fond memories there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So speaking of like high prices for movies, so what is you're going to see a movie, what do you guys do now? What's your strategy? Are you my mom was always sneaking candy in, but do you get popcorn anymore? Do you get all the snacks? Like, are we on a budget? What do you guys typically do if you're going to movies nowadays?
Popcorn and a drink. I don't get candy. I don't get anything else like that. I mean, I'm very traditional. Give me my popcorn, extra butter. Let me have a drink. Usually, I'm a sucker to buy sometimes those like kind of those cups, like special event cups or whatnot. That's usually where I'll spend extra money at a theater. But take advantage of $5 movie Tuesday as well. When else are you gonna really go?
For me, popcorn is usually, that's usually a given. I like to have a little bag of something sweet also. Give me something sweet with my salty, but also, a drink. I go all out when I go to the movies. I'm not going to the movies to save money. It will be I'm here for a luxury experience, and I won't settle for anything less than a dream lounger. If you're putting me in like a general seating with like just the little like those chairs, I'm not here for it.
Yeah,
give me a dream lounger, a big bowl of popcorn, a bag of candy, and a full drink.
See, I fall victim to I get there, I go, all right, get the big butter popcorn, enough for me, drink. But, it's always a toss-up of, do I get like the gummy worms, lifesavers, fruity sort of candies? But then part of me wants like Bunch of Crunch, cookie dough. So I get both. I get like the fruity and the chocolate and the popcorn and the drink.
Yeah, you need the salty, sweet, savory, and sour.
Yeah. The last time I went to the movies, actually, you know what? Maybe I didn't get a drink because we got there a little bit early, and I got a little adult beverage from I believe like the Take 5 cocktail lounge, and I brought that.
Super cool.
Even better, so super good. I do feel like we're far enough. The after show is only for true fans. So Austin, when you ask me about my news, I do feel like I can probably say it. Who really cares? So I've been offered and accepted a role in Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville in St. Cloud. Yeah, no, it's gonna be really cool. It's 3 nights only at the Ledge Amphitheater. If you haven't seen it, huge, like 6,000 seat venue, and apparently they sell out. So I'm really excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like we all got our productions this summer. Gonna keep us busy.
For sure. Look at us.
Busy this summer.
But
I mean, so what's the next episode?
We could probably do probably something close to the time of when summer camp's gonna start.
Yeah, hopefully we would have something to talk about.
I mean, with how our off season's been going, I kind of doubt it. Maybe when Dalvin, if something happens with Dalvin.
Dalvin's a post-June cut. Like at this point, something about the salary and the league calendar. I think Dalvin at this point won't get traded until after June, or any of the guys, Zadarius Smith, Danielle Hunter, whoever we want to trade. It's going to be a post-June thing. So, but then at that point, there's no rush in June. They can bring it all the way up through preseason if they wanted to.
So I'm just looking at the NFL's significant dates calendar. Well, the draft just happened. May 1st is the deadline for, the May 1st tender for unrestricted free agents. On May 2nd, clubs need to exercise their 5th-year option, which we did with Justin Jefferson. Nothing super big coming up for a while. It says May 5th through 8th or 12th through 15th, clubs may elect to hold their 1 3-day post-draft rookie mini camp. So we got mini camp coming up in May. And rookie premiere, spring league meeting. Not until, that's
OTA.
kind of it. We're looking at mini camp.
Yeah.
So, should anything come up, I guess that's when we'll talk.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Maybe we'll find something else to talk about. Maybe we'll, maybe some other developments will come up in our personal lives. Hopefully not another football related injury, but something maybe a little more positive.
Or, we could also do an off season, like in June, maybe like a game. I think we did one last year.
Yeah. We've done that kind of thing before. We can always do, preseason predictions and stuff like that. So,
or a different tier list, some other sort of tier list.
That sounds like a great idea. I think that's a really good way to go about it.
Yeah, we could go through and maybe look at the offense and defense that we got, and we can try to pick out a couple key people that we think are going to have good seasons this year or whatnot.
We could do
how about you fans? Let us know what you want to hear.
I'm thinking a wide receiver tier list.
Or a logo tier list.
Ooh. A stadium tier list.
Ooh. That's hard because I haven't been to a lot of stadiums.
True.
We can do our research on it, and take our best.
Based on looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact, not related to, I guess it's kind of related to Minnesota. My dad just sent me an article, Mikey, that US Bank is one of the contenders for WrestleMania 41.
I saw that as well. If they are in town, we're going. Cary, you're coming
we're gonna have
too.
To spend a pretty penny on it, but yeah.
Not a do you want to come to?
What?
Oh yeah, I did see that. So that is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly we've got the venue for it, but it's a tough time of year. What is WrestleMania? Yeah. February?
Well, they did the Super Bowl during February.
So yeah,
they can do WrestleMania during April or
true.
March probably. I think.
I don't think they're going to be running back to Minnesota to do another Super Bowl anytime soon, though.
No.
But
dang, this thing actually works.
Oh yeah, it's a stethoscope.
Like I'm feeling my heartbeat.
Wow. Well, anyway, good to hang out with you guys.
Yes,
as
always it is. Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to make this work, and
me too. Me too. This time of year, it feels like we're always just so far between episodes. So, we'll
come up with stuff.
Yeah. and it's a very busy time of year. During the football season, I feel like the three of us are always able to make football a priority.
Oh, yeah.
And when there's nothing, like hardly anything going on, obviously our priorities shift. We have, other things going on. So, it's a slow time during the season. So just glad that we're still able to do something and we don't give up on it.
Yeah. We'll figure stuff out. I even just uniform tier list. That'd be dope.
That would be cool.
Didn't we do that kind of already though? I feel like we did it, or maybe we just kind of spoke up about a couple we liked and a couple we disliked.
We did do that, but we could do a formal list.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
We could rank all the NFL starting QBs of attractiveness.
Oh yeah, where you put them through like a woman filter?
No. We just say which ones we think are the hottest.
Tell you what, I know who would be at the bottom.
Who?
I'm thinking Matt Ryan.
You think?
If he's a starter, that is, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No, for sure.
I mean, we always think about, the league and like, oh, this is what this team's going to look like this year. But remember when Cam went back to the Panthers and even started? I mean, seriously, what if like Desmond Ridder like tears his ACL. Do the Falcons sign Matt Ryan? I mean,
Well, I
Bring
mean,
him
look at
back.
last year. Trey Lance, it's his team now. What, 2 games in, he gets a season-ending injury, and
then
then
it's Jimmy, and then Jimmy gets hurt, and
it was an uphill battle, but the 49ers still had a very successful season, and it wasn't a
and it
sure
changed
thing.
literally their franchise forever.
Yeah.
They got rid of Jimmy G. They have 2 allegedly capable quarterbacks. One of them is injured. One of them has been injured. Both are fit to potentially be a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly wild. Certainly wild.
Maybe the Vikes will trade for Trey Lance before week 8. What if Brock Purdy's ready to start the season? The 49ers are 8-0, and the Vikings are 0-8. I think you make a trade for Trey at that point.
Maybe.
I'm no
But
doctor.
if the Vikings are 0-8, don't you just commit to the tank and go grab like Caleb Williams in the draft next year?
Yes.
I think so.
I never want to be a part of a franchise that tanks. That's just it.
No. And I mean, I guess they say that players don't tank, So I mean, we saw it with the Texans. They had basically the first overall pick secured, and they decided they had to go and win that last game. So
Whatever.
But what did
it
they
worked
get?
out
They got,
for
like,
them.
the
They
second
got
and the third,
cornerstones
didn't they?
on both sides of the ball.
that was huge, though. I mean, I feel like people
The
were
fact that
really
Daniel Jeremiah predicted that. He was like, they're going to trade up to 3.
no. I thought that was kind of wild. Like nobody. I mean, clearly, I guess Daniel Jeremiah expected it. I didn't expect that.
No, that was insane. When does that
You're
ever
certainly
happen?
watching for calls, but like
Yeah, when does that
that's
ever
not
happen
being-
where a team is traded into the pick behind them in the top 5?
that's
We got
not
2
being
guys in a
talked
row.
about enough. People are talking about, teams that have won the draft, the Seahawks. I mean, they did a great draft. They
Yeah.
got CB1 and
Oh
wide
my
receiver
God,
1.
the Eagles have literally like an Avengers super team now.
Yep. I mean, but nobody's talking about those Texans. That was good.
Pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. Not
All right,
saying
I
that
think
they're
I'm
the
gonna make
best
some
team.
lunch. I think
Yeah,
I'm
that's a good idea. All right. Well, I
Get these
suppose we're at
scrubs
that
off.
time where
Yep.
we probably only have one thing left to say.
I believe so.
Skull.
Skull.
Talk to you boys later.
Later.